everybody, and welcome to the 54th episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. I'm your host, Julianne, and Happy New Year to you all. It is now 2018, so today is the 4th of January. It is my niece's first birthday, so I will be seeing her later today, which is pretty exciting. I don't have a gift for her even yet because I have no idea what to get her. She got so many toys and clothes for Christmas, which obviously has just passed, so I've got no idea what to get her. But anyway, I'm sure by the time you see this I'll have already seen her, so I'll have figured it out, I guess. So I've got quite a bit to go through today, but first of all I should thank returning viewers for coming back and spending some time with me. I'm so glad that you could be here, and if you're a new viewer just checking out new podcasts for 2018, then welcome. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please remember to hit that subscribe button so that you get notifications, well, hopefully notifications, depending if you know, YouTube are being good, when I release a new podcast episode, which should be every week. I am planning to do this every week. I know I got a little bit sporadic towards the end of 2017 after my move, but yes, hopefully this year I will be a lot more consistent. So where to begin? I guess I'll have a little bit of a chat about things that have happened on my holidays and across the holiday season at the end. But for now, I guess I can talk about our make-along that we did last year in the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group. I'm sure that you all are very much waiting to hear who the winners are. The person who got the most yardage was going to be one of our major prize winners, so I know who that is, and that is emslittlenest, who is Emma from New Zealand. Congratulations, Emma, you are our grand prize winner, our largest yardage, and you came in with, I will just check on my trusty iPad here, you came in with 34,576 yards, which is 31,617 metres. That's an amazing feat, Emma. Congratulations, well done. So I've got the prizes here, but I'll show them off in just a minute. Our second winner is number 8, who is not the post number 8, but is number 8 who was on my spreadsheet. So I had everybody on a spreadsheet, and number 8 was Brittany, who I cannot actually remember her username. I'll put it down in the down bar. So congratulations, Brittany, you are our random winner of for the stash down along. So you were number 8 on my spreadsheet, and you won. So congratulations. Now I'll just grab the prizes and let you guys see what you have won. Alright, so there's bound to be a little bit of crinkling because there is some plastic bags here, so you'll have to forgive me. So we're going to have 2 prize packs. So Emma, you will get first choice on these, and the second one will go to Brittany. Provided she gets back to me. You both have to get back to me just to prove that you have been watching the podcast. If I don't hear from you guys by next, I'll give you 2 weeks. If I don't hear from you in 2 weeks, I will redraw your prize. But I'm pretty sure you watch all the time, Emma, so I think you should be set. All right, so the first set that I have, now there is some spinning Rolex in your prizes. If you aren't a spinner, let me know and we'll just replace that for something else. So first up, there is 60 grams of wool and bamboo Rolex from Tam's Crafty Knits. Tamara was very, very generous. She sent through a lot of prizes and actually saved me from having to do much more. So yeah, so it's a nice set of Rolex there with some wool and bamboo and lovely blues and purples. Try not to get too much shine on there. So that's part of the first pack. Then she's sent along some stitch markers, and that's just her card there, and stitch markers with a progress keeper with little flower and little, I think they're black. They might be sort of a pearly black bead on those. A DPN holder and a rose print drawstring project bag, so it's a pretty good size. So that's the first set, and the second set is 48 grams of wool and bamboo in this lime green and a pink, and I've dropped the stitch markers. Another DPN cozy, another drawstring bag with a rope pull, and I'll just grab those stitch markers. And a very similar set of stitch markers with a flower progress keeper and some black beaded stitch markers. So that's what Tamara has offered, and as my part of the gift, because I can't have her do all of it, I would like to offer a pattern download of your choice. I only have 2 at the moment, but I am going to be publishing some other patterns this year, so if you'd like to hold that over, you can of course do that. So I can gift you one of the patterns from my store. I know both of you girls actually tested the Amelia Beret for me, so thank you for that. You guys of course already have that pattern, but if you like the mini skein cowl, I can gift you that. Alternatively, like I said, I can hold that over to later in the year when I've got some other patterns up there, and you are welcome to choose from one of those later on in the year. And I will also include a skein of yarn of your choice. So you can either choose to have one custom made on, custom dyed on a base of your choice from my existing colour range, or you can pick something from my shop, from my available stock. So you'll get those prize packs from Tamara. So Emma, please let me know which is your preferred pack, and also what you would like from my store. So skein of yarn of your choice and a pattern of your choice from Lovebird Lane yarns, along with your pack from Tamara. I hope that all made sense. I feel like that was all over the place, but hopefully I can edit that and make it make more sense. But that's our wrap up of last year's knit along. So congratulations everybody who participated. You got some great stuff out of your stash, and of course big congratulations to Emma and Brittany who won our grand prizes. So yay! I guess the only other thing now to talk about in housekeeping is this year's first 6 months of the year knit along, which is the Whip It Good knit along, and I've already had some chatter going on over in the Ravelry group, which is fantastic. Thank you guys for chatting along in there. And basically it's pretty simple. If you have a whip that's currently on the needles, hook, wheel from prior to the 1st of January this year, it will count. So for the first 6 months of the year, I've got an FO thread, just add your finished projects as you finish them in there, and I'll just randomly choose a couple of prizes here and there through the 6 months, and then we'll have a grand prize at the end, and they'll all just be randomly drawn. So yeah, if you've got a bunch of whips, if you want to become a bit more monogamous like I do and you want to get those whips out of the way, head over to the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group, and you can find the threads there. Join in the chatter, join the group of course as well if you head over there, and yeah, put your FOs in the thread, and we can all encourage each other to get rid of those whips. I've spoken before that I want to become a lot more monogamous with my knitting, and I found that I actually am. I tend to only work on 1 or 2 things at a time now until they're done, so I think that's going to help a lot with my yearly yardage, because my yardage was a little bit down last year. I think I was just under 18,000 yards, I think, of knit projects, and I only count it once I finish the project. So yeah, so I was down from I think 24,000 the year before. So yeah, I want to try and get that up, get some items finished. I have worked out that I think I actually have one more than what I thought I did. I have 24 works in progress currently. So, and a lot of them are really close to being finished, and that's the crazy thing. I even went through my sewing whips, which you may have seen on my Vlogmas video. I was talking about going through my sewing whips, and even a lot of those are very close to being finished as well. So I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I get so close to the end, and then I just see something shiny and new and I just go for that. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some of my sewing whips done. Of course they won't be included in the knit along because or the craft along, because yeah, we'll stick with the fibery arts on Ravelry, but I am going to try and get a lot of my whips finished, including my sewing whips. So that's my plan. Hopefully by the end of the year they'll all be gone and I'll be completely monogamous, but we'll see how we go in the first 6 months for the make along that we are doing. All right, let's get on to some finished objects and talk about some actual knitting. I only have one this week, and they're socks. more socks, always socks. So it seems anyway. So these were my socks that I knit from my Christmas self-striping that I dyed especially last year, and it's on my Swindon sock base, and it's a two striper that's dyed as a four striper. Just, you know, it's just the way I roll. But yes, so I've used a coordinating mini skein for the cuffs, toes and heels, and Grange is in the room, so if you hear anything really odd like clicking and things like that, that's because Grange is just down here. Yeah, he's just flapped his ears. I apologise, he's just had a barking fit, so I've had to edit that out. Anyway, yes, these are my socks and I called them my festive feet. And I used 298 yards to knit these socks, and I knit them on my Higher Sharps 9-inch circular 2.5mm needle, and as always, my Fish Lips Kiss heel. And another exciting announcement that I can probably tell you about now is, because I'm always talking about my vanilla socks, I thought, to save me constantly describing what I do with my socks, I actually wrote up a pattern on New Year's Day. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw where I posted that I had updated the look of my patterns. And because I've got a new logo for 2018, which my sister very kindly made for me, and yeah, so I've updated my patterns to a new format. I'm hoping that it's a lot clearer and a little bit more concise page-wise, because I've got columns now, so it takes up less pages. So if you do print your patterns, less pages equals, you know, better for the trees. So yeah, you can now go to Ravelry. It is a free pattern I have made. I've called it Vanilla Socks a la Lovebird Lane. And yeah, you can go and find out how I knit my socks. So of course I haven't got the description for the Fish Lips Kiss heel in there. If you do want to use that heel, you will need to purchase that pattern separately. But I have given you my stitch count, my gauge, my needle size, and etc, etc. So if you want to learn how to knit vanilla socks, if you're new to sock knitting, yeah, head over, free pattern, and yeah, you can find out how I make my socks. So yeah, not really much else to tell. I'm always talking about my socks. So I guess we better move on, seeing I've got lots to talk about. Alright, so my first work in progress, which is being kept in my adorable Finch Yarns Christmas bag. I just wanted to show that off before I move on. I love it. Is my first star socks, which is a pattern by Jessica Gore, who is the Sweater Collective. Is the name that she works under. And yes, so these are my Christmas Eve cast on. Let me start there. And yeah, because Jess released this pattern right before Christmas, and you know, it kind of it's a star, so it's kind of, you know, nativity kind of thing, so I guess it's kind of Christmassy. I think she assumed intended it to be Christmassy. So yeah, that's what I've chosen. I chose to cast on for my Christmas Eve cast on. And I am knitting this out of some yarn that I dyed myself, and it is called White Christmas. So I don't know if you guys have it elsewhere in the world, but we have a dessert here called White Christmas, which is basically like rice bubbles or Rice Krispies, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, if you guys know what that is. And it's white, and it has the red and green glacé cherries along with like the Rice Krispies, and it has like a white something that holds it all together. So I thought, as soon as I saw this colourway, that it just reminded me of White Christmas, so that's what I called the colourway. This is on my Swindon sock base, and which is a 80/20 merino nylon, I believe. I actually really like this. When I was knitting this sock, because I haven't actually knit much out of this yarn, only the swatches that I made for my mini skeins back ages ago. And while I was knitting, obviously that was a different gauge as well, but while I was knitting these socks, I just really, really enjoyed it. It's like a really nice, plump, soft sock yarn, and I'm really looking forward to wearing these when the weather gets a bit cooler. So yeah, I followed Jess's pattern, except for the heel. I did my regular Fish Lips Kiss heel, and in my bag down there I have, I made one of the cardboard templates because I knit these toe up. I know I usually knit socks cuff down, but I did knit these toe up. And as such, I used my Fish Lips Kiss cardboard cutout that she gets you to make in the document to figure out where to place my heel. So yeah, it's a pretty easy pattern. I've memorized it pretty quickly, and yeah, I don't quite know what to say. It's a well-written pattern. It's very clear. It's got charts and written, which is good because I prefer the charts, honestly. I get bamboozled by written instructions. I just get lost and I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, so she had a chart, which is what I worked off, and it's basically a 12 round repeat, and it's only knit on the front of the sock. The back is all stockinette. And yeah, I really enjoyed them. I'm halfway through, I'm nearly up to the heel on my second sock, and it's really interesting because the two balls, because I had this was a small ball, like the skein was short because I had it left over from the very end of my cones, because I get my sock yarn on cones. So it was only a 75 gram ball, so I split it in two halves, and yeah, it's really funny how differently the two halves of the ball are knitting up, because you can see there's quite large sections of white in the first one, whereas even though it's still spiral pulling, even the white sections have got little subtle variants of colour. So yeah, I've really been enjoying knitting this sock because it's just like really pretty, and yeah, because I've not done a lot of speckled yarns previously. I've learned a lot from doing this dye lot here, because clearly it's spiraling, and that's due to how I dyed it, and not that that's a bad thing. I did get a little bit shaky when I was adding the dye, and it did plop on too much in certain sections, so that could be something to do with why there's those really, really dense sections where it's spiraling. But yeah, I'm enjoying these. I kind of, now that I'm G'd up for Whip It Good, because these were on the needles prior to the 1st of January 2018, yes, this can hopefully be my first project that gets added to the FO thread. So yeah, I'm halfway through the sock. I've been working on these at night. I've been very busy during the day doing business things, so I'm working on these at night. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying them, and I'm really enjoying the yarn as well. So it's just lovely and squishy and plump yarn, and I love the speckles. And for having only used 3 colours in these to do these speckles, it actually has got so many different shades of different colours where the dye has broken or sort of joined with a different colour. And yeah, I just really, really love it, and I want to do way more speckle yarn. Because, you know, speckles are so hot right now, as we all know. All right, now that I've just spent 5 minutes untangling my next project, I can tell you about it. And this was a spur-of-the-moment kind of cast on. I was having a bit of an off day right after Christmas because I'm a big introvert at heart, honestly, and with all of the stuff that we did over Christmas, because we had brunch with Simon's dad and his partner on Christmas Eve, and then we had a friend over for dinner on Christmas Eve, and then we had Christmas Day at my parents' house, and then we went to Simon's cousin's place in the evening. Yeah, it kind of really, really wore me out with my introverted social capacity. And yeah, I think it was Boxing Day or something. I just felt so out of it, and I just spur of the moment cast this on. So anyway, it is a featherweight cardigan. It doesn't look like much at the moment because, like I said, it was a bit of a spur of the moment. I've only really spent one day working on this. But again, it's on the needles prior to the 1st of January, so if I get this finished, it will count for the knit along. Not that I can win prizes or anything, but, you know, a bit of competition, you know. So this is a pattern by Hannah Fettig, who's you know, works under the name Knitbot. And I actually bought the pattern book that this came out of because I figured I'm going to pay, you know, however much for a single pattern. I could, you know, pay maybe 3 times that and get a whole bunch of patterns that I will actually knit. So I got the whole book, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Essentials. I think I'll put it in the down bar anyway. I am knitting this out of some yarn that I got in my I actually spoke about it on my Vlogmas, one of my Vlogmas videos, when I showed the opening of my Knit Picks order and my Eat Sleep Knit order. And this is, hopefully you can see it okay because it is lace weight and I can see quite clearly the camera through it. This is Hedgehog Fibres Merino Lace in the Artifact colourway. So it's very speckly, it's got like a tan sort of base. It's not really a colour that I would normally gravitate to, but the picture on the website actually had quite a bit more purple than this, but this is more pink and blue. So obviously on the one that I saw on the website, the pink and blue had mixed and made more of a purple, but that's fine. I will wear this. I will happily wear this. And the reason that I kind of wanted to knit a featherweight is because, you know, I'm super late to the party, but I've recently discovered Molly of a Homespun House, and I've been watching her backlogs, and I followed her all through Vlogmas, which was amazing. She had such a wonderful Vlogmas. I'm totally in love with her and her family, and fangirling a bit here. And yeah, she had a lovely Vlogmas, and I've been, you know, working my way backwards through her catalogue, and she has knit a couple of featherweights, and I think she's currently working on one, if I remember rightly, and she often wears one on her podcast, and I think she knit that in Wool and Vine Yarns as well. I think that was the Fairy Hair colourway by Wool and Vine Yarns, and yeah, I saw her wearing it and it just looked so effortless and cozy, and although hers is knit in fingering and I'm doing mine in lace, she's in Berlin in Germany, which gets snow a lot colder than here in Adelaide, South Australia, and so yeah, I thought a lighter weight cardigan would be really good because sometimes, you know, even in slightly warmer weather, our house here is actually quite cool, and yesterday I was sitting down doing my shopping list of all things on my lunch break, and I started shivering, and it's like just something super light like this would be perfect just to you know, put on just for that time that I'm sitting there, and then just to take it off again. So I'm not very far. I think I'm maybe 10 rows or less off dividing for the sleeves. So I mean, I guess that's not too bad, but because it is a lace weight yarn, there's a lot of stitches, and I have never knit with lace before. This is my first time, and I can't say I'm in love with it. It's okay. It is super easy to have, like, my gauge generally when I knit is quite even, but you can, I don't know if you can see, but it's super uneven on the lace, and I don't really know why that is. I'm hoping when it gets blocked it will neaten out, as blocking generally does, but yeah, it's looking a bit ugly to me right now, but I'm sure if I persevere and once it's finished and it's had a block, it will be beautiful, because come on, it's Hedgehog Fibres. And strangely enough as well, I'm having a lot of trouble manoeuvring the stitches on my needle. So I don't know whether it's because of the needle, and I can't remember what brand this is. It's either Addy or Chiagu, because I don't think it actually says. It's got the name, the size written on the cord, and it says Germany, so it's possibly an Addy needle. So yeah, I don't know whether it's because maybe the needle was a bit grabby. They are metal needles, but I don't know whether it's because they're a little bit grabby or what it is. But I'm struggling to get the stitches across the needle at times. So yeah, it's all a learning process. I've never done it before, obviously, like I said. So yeah, it's good to try new things. So yeah, this is the featherweight. It's super simple, top-down raglan. It has just a knitted collar, I believe, that just naturally rolls back. And depending on yardage, I'm not 100% sure. I should have enough. According to the pattern page, I should have enough to finish this in the size that I am knitting. However, I'm thinking once the arms are done, I might knit the arms with the other end of the ball, and because I want to do 3/4 sleeves, or yeah, I guess 3/4 sleeve, like length sleeves. I'm hungry, so my brain is not working too well. Yeah, I want to do 3/4 length sleeves, and then I want to use up all of the yarn in the body. So make it as long as I can, you know, within reason, because a lot of, I think the pattern is actually written for more of a cropped sweater. So the yardage, of course, is going to be for a cropped sweater. So yeah, I figure if I do the arms first, then I don't have Sleeve Island at the end of the project. Plus, then I know how much I have got left for the body, and I can make it as long as I need it. I really would have no clue what to do with leftover lace yarn either. So if I can get a lot of this used, or most of this used to the point where I don't care about what's left and I can just toss it, I'll be really happy. And the last thing I've been working on is kind of a whip that you have seen before. I did dig it out. However, it is changed. Now, you may remember I was doing this diagonal crochet blanket with sock yarn scraps, with fingering weight scraps that I had. And the beginning of it I loved. I really liked this first part, but then because your leftovers from socks and things vary quite a bit in yardage, and because this is a type of blanket that gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you go on the diagonal, so you start small, it gets bigger, so therefore your stripes get smaller. And I was getting to the point where I couldn't even do a whole stripe in one colour. I was having to, you know, chop and change. Sorry, my nose is a bit itchy. And it was just, I didn't love it, and I wasn't working on it because I thought it was ugly. And so what I have done, also inspired by Molly, is to start a granny stripe blanket. So I basically started with the last colour that I was working on for my diagonal stripe blanket, and I have been slowly frogging this into this. So I tried to explain it to Simon the other day, and he was like, okay, and then like maybe 5-10 minutes later he's like, oh, I see what you're doing. It's like, yeah, you didn't understand me the first time, did you? I mean, he knows what frogging and things like that mean because you know, he's lived with me for a very long time. He was there at the very origins of my knitting career. So yeah, so I'm basically pulling this one apart and crocheting it into this one. And honestly, I love this so much more, even though I may not get a full row out of a colour, because that was the other thing. I've got quite a bit of like Felici self-striping leftovers and things like that, which is like what this grey and pink here is, along to the lime and the yellow. And on the diagonal blanket, it was just these tiny little chunks of colour, whereas on here they kind of stack, and you know, it comes back to like the grey down here and the grey there and the yellow in between. So it just looks, the self-striping looks a lot better in the granny stripe blanket. So yeah, I'm in love with this. I've been doing quite a bit on it, and my poor wrists, because they are not used to doing this much crochet, is getting very upset with me. So I can't do as much as I would really like. But yeah, I'm much happier with this. And it is super long because I chained, I think I chained 300 and something stitches, or 300 stitches. And that means that it is long enough to actually go over my queen mattress. So it's about as long as or as wide as my mattress. So it can be a throw on the bed, it can be whatever when it's done. Because it is so wide, it's taking up a lot of yarn just to do one row. So I'm sure it's going to take quite a long time for me to get it to be as long as my mattress. So yeah, this is going to be a long-term whip. And although I do have a little tin just up beside me, if you watched my Vlogmas video where I gave you a quick tour of this room, it's my Wind in the Willows tin. That's where I put all my sock yarn scraps. So there's a fair bit in there. So yeah, I've got a lot to get through, but for the start, I'm just trying to get all of this old blanket now into the new blanket. So that's what I've been working on. And then once I've done that, I might add more, I might put it away for a little while. But yeah, I've become a little bit obsessed with it. And unfortunately, because obviously we're in summer here, it's not desperately comfortable a lot of the time to have it across my lap. So on the hot evenings, I'm not working on it. Last night I worked on it because it came in a little bit cool last night, but today is going to be 30 odd degrees, and we're going right up to 41 degrees on Saturday. So I'm not looking forward to that. I don't like the hot weather. Also on Saturday, my sister is throwing a party for my niece's first birthday, so I'm going to be outside with probably 40 other people on a 41-degree day. I mean, she has a really great area out the back. It's like a little patio that's under the main roof. So you do get the protection and the insulation of the main roof. And she has a fan in there as well, I think. But yeah, it's going to be 41 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's going to be unpleasant. But yeah, so I don't think I'll be working much more on this rug blanket for the rest of the week, unfortunately, but that's okay. I've got my socks, I've got my featherweight, I'll be fine. I will make it till next week, it's okay. Okay, so I think I might move on to a little bit of acquisitions, because as you know, I'm having a no-buy this year. So now that it's 2018, no yarn. I cannot buy any yarn. I can take from my store, but I can't buy any yarn. So I think now I have received everything that I ordered last year, and the last one came today. So it's down on the floor, hence why I'm looking. I will grab it and be back. Now, these two lots of yarn that I've bought, for me, are very special, and because they are very special, very talented dyers and podcasters that I am enamoured with. So the first one is the one I got today, and it is from Molly of A Homespun House. And can you see the little, she gave me a little stitch marker too, which is super cute. It's a little snowman. Because this is a Christmas colourway that she made. And it is on her merino cashmere base, which is a fingering weight. And this has got 20% cashmere, so it's got even more than mine. But yeah, I'm not even going to try and say this name because it's a German name, and I think it means Christmas market or winter market or something like that, because this was a limited edition. She said that she's not going to dye this ever again. She posted about it on Instagram, or she did a live that I just stumbled across one night when I was lying in bed looking at Instagram, as you do, and she said it's never going to be dyed again, and if you love it, go and grab it. And because I'd been skulking her shop, but I think I mentioned before, or perhaps I didn't, maybe that was talking to friends, because her shop is in euros, it is a lot of money, because compared to the euro, compared to the Australian dollar, is about double. So she sells a skein of yarn for 28 euros, so it's about $54 or so here. So that's a lot of money to spend on one skein of, you know, hand-dyed yarn. It's not self-striping, it's just a variegated yarn. And I was, you know, I'd looked at her shop and I'm like, I can't justify that. But then, you know, as soon as you say it can never be made again, or it will never be made again, Julianne goes, I need it. So I immediately jumped on, because I thought, well, how long ago did she post this? There's probably none left. And just on a whim, I went over and she had some left. So I grabbed one of the merino cashmere, and yeah, it's super, super pretty. It's, I believe, supposed to be all the colours of the winter market. So this is a very special skein. So yeah, like I said, it's her merino cashmere base, which is 370 metres or 407 yards per 100 grams. So I don't know what I'm going to make out of this yet, but it will go back in its plastic bag that it came in and get stashed away somewhere for something special. And super cute, she included, let's see if I can get this without the shine on it, a packet of sock stickers. Yeah, so the Merry Christmas stickers with socks all over them. So how cute is that? Thank you, Molly, it's amazing. Not that I don't think Molly watches, but yeah, when I saw that there's little stickers with all these little stockings and socks and things on them, I thought, oh, that's super cute. So that's what I've got from Molly, or a homespun house, I should say. And the next thing, which is the last thing, I got 3 items. I was a bit naughty, and I saw Kristen of Wool and Vine Yarns was having an update, as she always does, and I can't even remember what the pattern was now, but she showed a pattern. I think it was a sock that was knit from her tea leaves colourway, and I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. I'm like, I want to knit that, and I want to knit it in the tea leaves colourway, so I got some tea leaves. So this is on her footsie base, which is blue-faced Leicester nylon, 400 yards or 365 metres in 100 grams, fingering weight. So this is the tea leaves colourway, which is a really lovely pink, and it's got lots of speckles, speckles of pink, speckles of brown, blue, because it looks like her dyes are broken, so I don't know if you can quite see there. There's some blue in the brown there. So I got some tea leaves on her footsie base, and while I was there, I mean, I was already in love with it, let's face it, her sparkling cider colourway. And I treated myself because I don't have any of her Volca base, so I got this on Volca, which is a superwash merino cashmere nylon, so it's an 80-10-10. It's 435 yards or 400 metres, and yeah, so I got sparkling cider, which is beautiful, red, sort of a pinky red, some brown, some green. Yeah, so that was super pretty. And while I was there, I picked up some swag. She has tote bags, and I'm like, I'm such a Wool and Vine Yarns fanatic. I will get myself a tote bag. So I don't know what I'm going to use the tote bag for. I may use it for knitting, I may not. There's her super cute little card that came in the parcel. So I love it. It's like, I'm very familiar with this look of dyes like that. So yeah, that is my acquisitions. Now I guess I can move on to some Lovebird Lane Yarns shop news, I guess. Now that we're in 2018, I am in the stages of creating all new colourways, because I've begun to get a little bit, I did a lot of tonals, I used to do a lot of tonals. I'm super into speckles at the moment and variegateds, and I sort of figure tonals sometimes are really close to commercially dyed yarn, and why would you buy hand-dyed yarn if you can just go and get commercial yarn? That's not much different. So, and also my dye techniques have changed, my tastes have changed. I felt like a lot of my old colourways were a bit twee. They were a little bit, I know primary refers to, you know, blue, red, yellow, but I mean, they were very bright. They were very twee. That's the only word I can really think of. They were all, I felt like, yeah, they were a little bit unsophisticated, I suppose you could say. So I've decided this year I can still dye them. If you still want any of the old colours, you are quite welcome to them. I will dye them for you. I have a custom order listing in the shop, but I think I will be moving away from them unless I get a request for them or something like that. And on the subject of requests, I do have a Ravelry group for Lovebird Lane yarns. If you are interested, please head over and join. But I do have a thread on there that you can go on and request a colourway. So if you haven't seen a colourway in the shop that you would like to see, head over there and leave me a comment and just let me know what colourway that is, and also the base too if you're after a specific base. So that is on the Lovebird Lane Yarns Ravelry group. So yeah, I've just decided that I wanted to, I guess probably because also, I mean, I was a fledgling dyer last year. I started in 2016. I was very much finding my feet, finding my artistic voice last year. It was a lot of learning, a lot of trial, and I think I know what I like now, and I've been really happy with the colourways that I've been doing recently. One of my newer ones that my Mystic colourway, a lot of you have some of that because it's sold out every time I put it in the shop. Yeah, I know, like, I really enjoyed making that colourway, and it was a lot of fun. It was literally a trial and error. Let's throw it at the pot and see what happens. And you guys loved it, and I love it. I've already knit myself a couple of projects with that colourway, and yeah, so I thought, well, I would chase more of that variegated, sophisticated, speckled kind of yarn. So that's basically what I did yesterday. I had a dye day yesterday, which was hugely inspirational is not the right word, but it was really an enjoyable day. It was really, I guess I could say inspiring day, because I was super happy with what I came up with yesterday, and it's really made me super keen to get back to the dye pots and try some more new colourways. So without further ado, I might talk about a shop update that I will be having tomorrow night, which is Friday the 5th of January at 7 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings, Central Daylight Savings time. So I'm going to have quite a few skeins in there. I've done a little bit more self-striping, which hasn't actually been reskeined yet, so I can't show you that yet. But if you are interested, it is called Blorange, and it will be, I will show it off on the Instagram account. So I'm at Lovebird Lane on Instagram. So if you like to keep up with things like shop updates, what I'll be having, when they will be, definitely go and follow me there as well. Sorry, I just moved the tripod. I pushed it with my iPad, so I'll move my iPad away. So I will grab the first colour that I will have in the shop. So speaking of Mystic, I did do a batch of Mystic yesterday, if I can pick them all up. And I did attempt to up the number of skeins per batch, because previously I've always made my recipes for two skeins at a time, and I'm now ramping up to 4. So these were done in the new 4 skein batch, and I think they worked out really well. I think they look pretty close to what the originals were. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out, that experiment worked. So yes, I'm going to have 4 skeins of Mystic. They are all different bases at this stage. You know, I'm not at the point where I'm going to do multiples of the colourways unless it's a custom order. Of course, if you want multiples for a sweater quantity, please contact me. I can do that. So I will have it on Fisher DK. I have some on my Peach Face. I have some on one of my new bases, which is a tweed. So that's Merino and Donegal Nep. And I will also have some, where is the knots? I worked it out with knots on my, so this is, I can't actually remember what was 2 knots. I've written it down, but it could be an MCN. I think it was an MCN was my 2 knots. So, yep, I've got some on MCN. And the next colourway I did was more of a brown, and I started off with a purple and it came out really bright, and I was like, yeah, that's not what I wanted. So I toned it right down, and I've got some brown in there and some grey. So I haven't named these new ones yet. I will have to think about that today. Crazily enough, that one didn't really come out with much purple at all on it, and that's in my glitzy base, which was a new one that I got for some socks last year, for some self-striping sock yarns for last year. So that's my glitzy base, so I'll have one of those. Another one on the tweed. I've got a new singles base, so I've got one of these on singles, and then finally one on Peach Face. So I'll have whatever I decide to name that. And this new one, I have some of these as well. So it's got red and grey and sections that almost look a bit like purple. Some corally kind of colours in there. So I was really pleased with this one. I think this one was probably my favourite that I did yesterday. Not really my colours, although it does kind of match my top. But yeah, I was really happy with this one. So I have some on singles, which is my solo base. I've called it solo. I have, sorry, crinkling. What have we got here? Some on an MCN base. Have some on Fisher, and finally I think this is BFL. Yes, this is Sheepy Sock. And the last 2 colourways, I kind of went a bit crazy. I've been thinking lately about having sock yarns that are specifically built to have it like a micro stripe or flashing and pooling and things like that. So yeah, I've done something like that. So let me grab them and I will show you. So these are the colourways that I came up with. There's 2 separate colourways. So I've got blue and pink with some black speckles and some sort of orange in there. And I have some with some green and pink speckles. So these, because of the way that they are dyed, they should flash and pool and microstripe or whatever they will do in a sock, so in the smaller circumference. I guess in shawls and things like that they will stack and pool and things like that, so you'll still get much of that effect, but they're mostly dyed. They're both, they're all sock yarns, and yeah, so I basically dyed these to be used as socks. So there's a bit of orange in there too. I forgot about that. So I don't know what I'm going to call these yet, but I have one on Glitzy, which is my gold stellina. I have one, this will be Swindon sock. I have, I believe, one on BFL and one on Swindon sock for the other 2. So yes, that's the Swindon sock. And then BFL sheepy sock. So yes, all those goodies will be up in the shop tomorrow night. So I hope you can join me. I hope there's something there that you love. I will be taking glamour photos this afternoon of them so that I can create my listings and do little teasers on Instagram. So that will be fun. So yeah, I hope you can join me. And I guess all that's left, this is going to be a super long podcast, all that's left really is to talk about what happened over the holidays, and we didn't do a lot. Simon had just over a week off, so he had basically from the Friday before Christmas until the second Tuesday this week, so just over a week. And we just decided that we were just going to chill, so we didn't do too much. Like I said, we had brunch with Simon's parents on Christmas, his father and his partner and his sister on Christmas Eve, and that was really nice. And then we headed over to Simon's sister's house because he hadn't seen her new house. She moved in last year, so we went over there and spent some time with her cat and teasing her new Google Home thing. I can't remember, I don't know what they're really called, but it's like the little speaker that you go, "Hey Google," and you can ask it things. So we had some fun playing with that. We were telling it to self-destruct, and it had these little kind of noises, which was, you know, we did that far too many times. Jackie also taught me how to use Snapchat, because I've had Snapchat for a while, but I've never really known how it works or what to do with it. So it's just an app that's just sat on my phone and nothing has been done with it. And so Jackie taught me what to do with that. So if you want to follow me on Snapchat, I can't actually remember what my username is. I'll put it in the down bar. So if you want to friend me on Snapchat, please do. So yeah, Jackie did that with me, and Christmas Day we went to my parents' house. Jackie came along as well because she was a loose end, because her mum and her partner were on a cruise, so we didn't have to see them on Christmas Day because they weren't home. So yeah, so Jackie came along to my house. My nieces were there. We opened presents. I gave the girls the knitted presents, and of course, Piper not being quite one, she's one today, she didn't really care, but Amelia, when she opened her fade sweater that I had knit for her, she was opening it up and I was watching her, and I was trying to film her, but I had turned the camera off record instead of onto record, which was a bit of a bummer. Not that I can share it with you anyway, but yeah, she was opening up the present, and she's opening, she's like, "Oh, what is this?" And she like gets further in, she pulls it out and she goes, "Oh wow, thanks Auntie Jules," in the way that, you know, a 3-year-old can, only a 3-year-old can. So that was pretty exciting. She was pretty excited about it. However, Louisa thought that the necklines looked a little bit small on the fade jumpers, and I'm like, well, I didn't want the pattern sand. And she tried putting it over Piper's head, because Piper does have a little bit of a big noggin for her size, and it would not go. So she thought, well, I better try it on Amelia. So Amelia kicked up a stink. She did not want to try it on because it was a little bit warm. And anyway, Louisa said, "I need to know whether it's going to fit over your head, because I'll have to give it back to Auntie Jules to fix it." And so she finally relented, and we couldn't really get it over Amelia's head either. So both of the sweaters came back with me on Christmas Day. I haven't pulled them out yet. I think I have to add them to my whips. Would that be cheating? Is that I've gotten those back and they've gone back into my whips and put them in the FO thread? I don't know. No, I won't do that. So I've just basically, I'm going to pull out the necklines and then bind them off again with a super stretchy stitch. Possibly the sewn bind off that I used on their socks and on my socks. That was what was what do you call it, recommended in the Jane Richmond pattern for the tube socks, is to do a sewn bind off. So that's quite stretchy, so what I might do is pull out the necklines and put, you know, do the sewn bind off on those. And then pretty much all week we just relaxed and ate too much food. I put on 2 kilos after saying that I'm going to hardcore lose weight. I put on 2 kilos, so that was a little bit disheartening. But yeah, we pretty much just chilled. We had some hot days there, so we just kind of lazed around. New Year's Eve we had a friend over for dinner. We did a barbie, got our kettle barbecue out, so Simon had to do a last minute run to get some fire starters because we had run out, and I knew that we'd run out ages ago, but we'd run out before we moved, so I didn't even think about it. And so he had to run out and get some of those last minute. Thankfully, we have a supermarket up the road that is open until 8 p.m. on the weekends, including New Year's Eve, thank goodness. It meant we had dinner, so we had the kettle going, and our friend Emma came and we had some cake and we watched some movies. Watched Spider-Man Homecoming because she hadn't seen that before. It's not my favourite Marvel movie, I have to say, so I pretty much ignored it the whole way through. So yeah, but she enjoyed it, so that was good. And then not long after New Year's, she trundled off home, which was great because I was absolutely shattered. I was ready for bed before 12, but I made it to 1 a.m, so that was quite a feat. And then, yeah, I forced myself to relax by putting it in my diary. I will just grab that so you can see it. I have downloaded a template for the Passion Planner, which is something that you can do. You can sign up for their newsletter, and then you can you get a password to download the PDF. So I printed one out for myself, and as you can see there, I told myself to relax because I have a real tendency to but like I said, I did actually do some work on New Year's Day, but that at least was just at my computer, so it wasn't doing anything else, so I was technically relaxing. But yeah, so I've been using my Passion Planner, which I'm really loving. It means that I can stay ahead instead of realising that a holiday is coming up like Halloween or Christmas and going, oh no, I need to get something out. I can actually put it in my diary for a couple of months earlier, so I can start planning it up and start making things so that I have things ready for when, you know, prior to the holiday. So that's my Passion Planner. I've been working with that, which is great. And yeah, Simon went back to work on Tuesday and I went back to work on Tuesday, and yeah, and I'm here now. So that's pretty much it. That's not much else has been going on. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there because I think this is going to be super long and it's going to take forever to edit and forever to render and forever to compress, so I better get moving. But as always, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, press that like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Yeah, I just love meeting all of you guys, so please do share if you do like the podcast, and yeah. Thank you so much for joining some time with me. Thank you so much for joining me today and spending some time, and I hope you have a lovely week, and stay warm if you're in a cold spot, stay cool if you're in a hot spot like me, and happy crafting, and I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll see you next week. Bye.